Yeah, the Bears are not just preparing for LSU as they take the field on Tuesday against the Tigers, Tuesday afternoon, but they're still working. This is college football in 2024. They are still working the portal and trying to get guys in here into this program. And in fact, Foster Nicholas of the Baylor Lariat, who had the quote from Brian Kelly, also had from Dave's presser right after noon today. It was 12:15. He was asked, are you still trying to work the portal a little bit? He says, yep, we're always doing that. In fact, we could have something any minute now. Well, 2 hours later, the Bears got the commitment. And you could argue it's one of the most important, if not the most important, of this window. And that is Emar'rion Winston, who is coming in from Oregon, listed as a linebacker, but more of an edge rusher. And here's a guy who played every game this season for the number one team in the country, a team that could well win the national championship. Winston fills a huge hole that Baylor has, and they've had for the last couple of years, and that's pass rush. I've talked about it on this pod a few times. They have not had a legit pass rush in a couple of years now, really since 2021. And we thought they had some dudes, but it never quite came together. I'm talking about guys like, TJ Franklin and Cole Maxwell and Jackson Player and, Gabe Hall up to this year with Garmin Randolph and Steve Linton. And they've had some moments, each of them, and as a team, but they have not had a legit pass rush for 3 years now, since that 21 Sugar Bowl and Big 12 winning season. Emar'rion Winston could really, really help the Bears in that category. He's a guy who was recruited by Matt Powledge at Oregon. He, again, played every game this year. Does he have the numbers? No, I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not like he had 5 sacks or 2 sacks or 1 sack. But here's a guy who was seeing the field a lot for an almost wire-to-wire number one team in the nation in the Oregon Ducks, and one that could well be marching towards a national championship as we speak right now. So for as excited as we were to pull the defensive coordinator from the national champions almost 5 years ago now, and Dave Aranda, should we be excited about bringing in a big-time edge rusher from the national champions elect? I think we should be. I really think we should be. And I don't know how much this will affect Oregon in this short term, but this was a guy who was highlighting their 2022 recruiting class. Like, he was probably the best prospect in this class. He's an Oregonian as well. He's from Portland. So it's not like, you were really high on this kid out of Flower Mound 3 years ago. He wants to come back and be closer to home. Not the case. Emar'rion Winston is coming to Baylor because he sees a chance to play and to star and wants to play under Dave Aranda and Matt Powledge. Well, I didn't even know Matt Powledge was going to last through the coaching cycle here. And now he's bringing guys in. He's helping bringing guys in. Jamar Chaney, Keenan Hall, all these guys. They're Aaron Hunt, who of course had the dancing bear gift today. This is a big get for Baylor. And I'm sure there's some of you listening and watching, and rightfully so, or getting exhausted of me talking about the big gets that Baylor has gotten through this portal window, because I just went off yesterday about Walker White and how it's one of the most important portal gets Baylor's ever had. And that is true. That's the future, the long-term future in college football sense, the long-term future of this program. Emar'rion Winston is a big part of the short-term future, with 2 years of eligibility remaining at least. He comes in and fills a huge need for Baylor. And while he doesn't have the stats at Oregon, he's another one of these guys that was a big-time recruit in high school. 4-star recruit. Of course, his portal rating goes down because he goes to a Big 12 team. That's just happened up and down the list on 247 for the Big 12 teams. But he was one of the best pass rushers in the country coming out of high school in 2022. He was the number 4 overall prospect in Oregon. He was a top 30 pass rushing prospect, and that's what he brings to the table. He brings an element, again, that Baylor has not had. And when you're looking at the portal, it's important to really differentiate what you're looking at. The portal is a crapshoot. Just like the NFL draft is a crapshoot, just like the NBA draft is a crapshoot, just like high school recruiting is a crapshoot. It's all crapshoot. Okay? But what you're looking for in the case of Baylor specifically is you're going to get some plug and play starters from the transfer portal, guys who have done it before. They have proven it at the Division I level, and they're going to come in and they're going to fill holes for you right away. Okay? That's guys like Phoenix Jackson, Kobe Prentice, Travion Barnes, guys they got at the beginning of the portal. And then there are those guys that you're picking up out of the portal because you had some interest in them in high school and they were big time prospects out of high school. That's where you get guys like Walker White, 4-star, and Emar'rion Winston, 4-star. And that is how you kind of create a great recruiting class in the aggregate. You know, in some cases, when you don't have a great high school recruiting class, you can make up for that in the transfer portal. What Baylor has right now is a top 25 national recruiting class and a top 25 transfer portal class, currently ranked number 22 in the nation by 247. And when you're an 8-4 team and you have plenty of skill positions coming back, a 22nd ranked transfer portal class could be as good as a top 10 class, because you already have a lot of the guys in place. You know, we already talked about it. Tech having a great year in the portal, but they don't have those guys in place next year. That's why they needed to do that. Baylor's getting the best of all of it. And again, you're probably not going to hear me at the time talk about how bad a portal class is. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to, I don't want to sound naive, but Baylor is coming off a tremendous season in 2024. They're bringing their coaching staff back, we think, knock on wood, hoping to bring their entire coaching staff back. They bring in a terrific recruiting class. They bring in an awesome portal class. Everything is coming up Baylor. And they still have holes that they need to fill. And they will in the spring. But they really lost one starter in the transfer portal, and they gained, by my count, 3 so far, at least, and that's maybe being conservative. 4, 2 linebackers, a nose tackle, a safety, probably a receiver, 5. And Emar'rion Winston could well work his way into a starting role. He's a guy who's played. He started every game this year for Oregon. What a class. And it's not over yet. Emar'rion Winston, you are a Baylor Bear, and you can really, really help this team. And we could be getting back to a vintage Dave Aranda defense. The one that Brian Kelly lays awake at night, having nightmares about, could be coming back to Baylor. And boy, will that be a well-rounded team. I cannot wait to break this all down. But that comes after the Texas Bowl, which we'll have tomorrow. We will have a live post game tomorrow. So get involved in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about Brian Kelly and putting out some bulletin board material. Let me know what you think about the Bears adding Emar'rion Winston, a big-time prospect, a guy who headlined a class from the University of Oregon who could well win the national championship this year, and a guy who played every game for the Ducks this year. Let me know down in the comments below, or tweet at us at Locked On Baylor, for me at Real Cam Stewart. And be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. Ring that notification bell to get notified every time we're dropping a video here on YouTube. And then they're going to be wherever you get your podcast. So we'll see you after the game live on YouTube after Baylor wins the Texas Bowl. We'll see you then on Locked On Baylor.